Before we jump into the product, I wanted to get a better understanding from you. What information and data are you primarily looking for?
So exactly what I'm looking for. I'm in the process of right now of looking for an investment, vacation rental investment property. So that's where I want this kind of demo to lean towards, how I can use the data that you guys provide to see potential opportunities for vacation rental properties in certain areas.
That sounds good. And what are some of those certain areas?
I'll just throw like a kind of a known town. So I don't want to see, put in Springfield, Vermont.
So with regards to Airbnb, you've come to the right place. Mashvisor is one of the leading softwares helping investors identify deals and their rental potential for an Airbnb strategy.
Yep.
You have nationwide access with our software, so you'll be able to research any city that you would like. I'm going to be demoing the product to give you a better feel for our service and the capabilities of the software.
Perfect, thank you.
For starters, you have the data heat map, which is located here. When you're looking at an area, you want to know parts of that area and where it would show you the highest occupancy rate. As you see, the map is color coded. Green would identify the areas with the highest percentages, red the lowest, and yellow and orange a little bit in the middle.
Okay.
To the right, you have three tabs. The investment tab shows you properties that are on the market for sale. These are homes that you can buy that we've analyzed for you. We are helping you determine their Airbnb, cash on cash, and cap rate. The way we are doing that is we're collecting Airbnb data directly from the Airbnb website. That information is available here in the Airbnb tab. You can access the data that we're collecting by clicking on the export. This will download an Excel sheet providing you with historical Airbnb data.
Okay. Question I have about occupancy rate. So let's say that a house that you're looking at, the people that own it want to stay in it for a lot of the time and rent it out some of the time. So they block off the occupancy, but they're not generating revenue in those days. Is that number reflected as how is that calculated, or is that something that's unable to be calculated?
So that's a very good question. You're asking if block days are accounted for in the occupancy rate or not. So the way we collect data is we have crawlers on the Airbnb website. So typically any software that's collecting that type of data will not account for those block days. It will account as though they are occupied. Mashvisor has built an algorithm that helps us differentiate when people are blocking those days off. And the way we did that is comparing the nightly price and then seeing if there's any discounts applied and watching how the bookings are coming through on the Airbnb website. So this gave us a lot more value in the accuracy of the data. We then reach out to Airbnb homeowners and we ask if we can look at their historical Airbnb performance. And we validate that towards the Mashvisor occupancy rate. We do this consistently every month just to make sure that we have updated data, and we try to reach out to as much people as possible. Typically, that accuracy has ranged anywhere between 93 and has gone up to almost 98%.
Great.
So in this sheet, you're looking at the different property types. Like most people that use our software, the one thing that they say that when they bought properties through our platform and rented them out as Airbnbs, they found that our numbers are conservative.
Okay. That's always good.
In the monthly bookings tab, you'd be able to see the amount of days in each month every Airbnb property has rented out in the last 12 months.
Okay.
And their average annual occupancy rate percentage.
Okay. So would that non-available be blocked off months?
This could be most likely when they're repetitive like this, that they just started the Airbnb.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a new listing compared to the others.
So talk to me about cash on cash. Talk to me about that algorithm and that data.
We use this Airbnb data to analyze these deals that are available in the investment tab to give us a cash on cash return. Now, these deals can be filtered if you're a cash buyer, if you're financing. You can go into more filters to customize the amount of beds, rental income, property type, and property status. Any listing that you click on will direct you to the property page. There, Mashvisor will provide you with an analysis on the home. So it'll show you the cash on cash and the cap rate. I just hovered over them, so that way at any point, if you're curious about how we're coming up with the numbers, we actually give you the function. It is annual cash flow. So we take the rental income, we reduce the monthly expenses, we multiply that by 12, which gives us net annual operating income, and we divide it by the cash invested. So that means as you adjust your mortgage, your cash on cash will always adjust.
Yep.
And that also means as you adjust your upfront costs, like for example, if it needs furniture or repairs or any changes that you make, they will automatically influence your cash on cash return.
And will that cash on cash change over time after the initial upfront, or is it just kind of a step set for the right as you purchase it?
Exactly. It's based off present value. We're building a feature that allows you to customize that and even adjust for future potential growth in the rental income.
So example here, I purchased this with a mortgage with it looks like maybe 20% down, 25% down. There's my interest rate. My cash on cash return, if I'm Airbnb-ing this and getting the rates or the occupancy rates that you guys are displaying, I should get a 28% year-over-year return on that cash.
You would get a 28.39% based off present value. So that what that means in cash on cash return is that in 5 years, you would have paid a little bit less than 5 years, you would have paid back all of your upfront cost.
Okay.
So like for example, if the cash on cash was just as 100%, I want to show you what that looks like. That gives us a 79.8%. So in reality, we should be able to pay back by year 1.
Yep.
The closer we are to the 100%, the lower the time frame. That's why we use cash on cash return.
And you're saying that's a pretty conservative rate based off of the averages that you're seeing in that area.
That's correct. People that have properties using our platform have actually left reviews on Trustpilot saying that they found that our data is conservative. One of the largest vacation rental management companies in the country, they are the largest vacation rental management company in the country. Vacasa gets all of their Airbnb data directly from Mashvisor.
Okay.
Their entire business is built on ours.
So is the best way to look for opportunities in a market that's kind of up and coming is that kind of yellow hot in the heat map area?
I would agree with that depending on what the yellow stands for. So if the cash, when we're looking at occupancy rate, because we were looking at occupancy rate originally with the data heat map, upcoming markets are the ones that typically range anywhere between 50 to 65%. The moment the occupancy rate for the market starts to really get into the green, you're looking at a market that's already been saturated with Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And we're actually enhancing this specific feature that will tell you how good of a market this is compared to the rest of the country. There's a score for it. And typically like 79% is pretty high. Like compare this to like Palm Springs, which is a well-known vacation rental market. Show you what the numbers would look like there for the data heat map, just so that way you can see the difference between both, 81%.
So what is that number again? Give me that again, the match meter, what's that represent?
This is a score that Mashvisor gives the area. It gives it the score depending on the average rate of return in the market, the available listings, and how much Airbnbs are in that area. It also looks at the average occupancy rate that counts for how long listings stay on the market, how many of them are converted into Airbnb. So there's a lot of outliers that really come up with that number.
Okay.
I think 16 outliers.
And what other pull downs that are useful in that map, that heat map area that you were showing?
People also use it for the cash on cash return.
Okay. Yep.
And in this specific page, this is giving me all of the insights about Springfield. I think you can benefit from this. It'll show you like what's the most type of properties that are being rented out as Airbnbs. Is it single family or cabins?
Yeah.
The different property types. It'll also show you occupancy rate by number of bedrooms. So if I did a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom, I can get a good idea on what the average occupancy rate would look like. And there's a further breakdown on this, and I'll show you that in a moment. And it also shows me the breakdown of number of bedrooms. So how many properties have 3 bedrooms? So most people or most Airbnbs are 3-bedroom properties, and they have one of the highest occupancy rates.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see that. So conversely, a studio has a very high occupancy rate, and there's not many properties.
Exactly. That's right.
Okay. So that shows kind of an opportunity right there.
Exactly. That's right. Here you have median occupancy rate, minimum, maximum, and average, lowest and highest percentiles.
Yep.
Same thing for income.
Love it.
You have all the Airbnbs in the area and their monthly incomes in the last 12 months.
Great. Love that.
and the average for all of those properties. The idea is I want to see the average for single family homes. I can filter for that, or even the number of bedrooms too. And there's a graph below it for occupancy rate. You know, what's the occupancy rate for all of the properties over the last 12 months? So it looks like it starts to drop, you know, in these months, and it starts to go back up during the summer months.
Yep.
You can filter that based off property type. I wanted to talk a little bit about the expenses part.
Yep.
So we're accounting for insurance, utilities, management, maintenance, and taxes. You might need to add things like Wi-Fi and TV.
Yep.
When you make these changes, they impact your cap rate and your cash on cash.
And how are you getting the utility number, those things, are those accurate numbers or those guesstimates?
They're estimates.
Okay. What is the property tax an estimate, or is that because you can pull that rate from Zillow when you're, or from?
We get it directly from the MLS just for higher accuracy.
Okay, so that's accurate. Okay. Oh yeah, perfect. Look at that. That's great. And then property management, and that's a separate expense. If I'm doing my own management, that's a different
And what I change will impact my rate. In reality, the highest you'd be paying is about 25%, which is Vacasa. But like you can do things with Evolve and you can get it for I think 10% or 15%. But they don't do as much marketing for your property as much as that Vacasa would. And last but not least, everything is summarized in this payback balance table. The goal is to help you determine how long it will take for you to pay up your upfront cost. So the system is very, very user friendly, despite that there's a lot of great data. Right now, we're one of the leading softwares helping investors, real estate agents, property managers benefit in finding lucrative Airbnb vacation rental deals. If you don't mind me asking, what's the other site that you're considering?
AirDNA.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. Just to give you an idea on some of the difference between Mashvisor and AirDNA. First and most valuable difference between Mashvisor and AirDNA is accuracy. If you look at the reviews between both and people that have used both softwares, they found that our data is much more accurate. Second is pricing. They charge $1,000 per month for one state access, and they do not include access to listings. So you have to actually come up with the listings. You need an additional source for that. They don't give you a breakdown of the expenses. They don't look at things from an investment point of view, and they don't include access to traditional data. So Mashvisor will provide you much more data for much less. Because if you're using AirDNA just to look at one state yearly, you're spending over $12,000 a year. It's extremely expensive.
And what other than price, like give me more differences in data that.
The first difference actually isn't pricing. It's the accuracy of the data. If you go on Trustpilot, Mashvisor has a 4.5 star rating. There's 170 reviews of people that have used our service and have had a very good experience, from customer support, accuracy of the data, the type of pricing structure that we have, and the data that we're offering them.
Yep.
If you go on AirDNA's Trustpilot account, they have a 2.0 star rating. 10 customers have used their platform, and they've all had very negative experiences with their software.
Right. Okay.
So I think the main value in the difference isn't even actually pricing. That's why I mentioned the first difference and the most important difference, because at the end of the day, you're spending your money on either side. And when you do, you're expecting to get results, and that results needs to be valuable. The value is at Mashvisor. It isn't. Unfortunately, it's not at AirDNA.
Awesome. I appreciate it. All right. This has been great, Mike. I thank you for your time. And there's just not enough on the market right now to sign up. I want to wait until probably the beginning of February to sign up. So I think more stuff will be coming on the market. January is such a slow month for real estate. So it doesn't make, but I'll be going with you guys. I think it was a great presentation, some good points, and I look forward to get that email and working with you guys in the future.
Sounds good, Jeffrey. Thank you for your time today.
Have a great day.
You too. You can always reach us at support@mashvisor.com. We're happy to help. You can always schedule demos with us. Our team will be happy to demo the product for you and answer any questions you have about our service.